Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again. I'm back and I'm doing another female driven movie tonight. I'm doing a 1984 comic book movie. No, it's not Supergirl. I haven't seen that yet. It's the 1984 live action adaptation of a comic from the 1930s, I believe. Yeah, in the late 30s. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. This is the 1984 Sheena movie with the gorgeous Tanya Roberts as Sheena, the Queen of the Jungle. Now, I saw this movie about 2 years ago on cable. I really liked it. I don't think it's one of the worst movies in 1984. It's basically if you took Rambo, the first Rambo movie, First Blood, and you did it with a woman. And it's not as violent because this is a PG movie. Well, excuse me, not an R because it has some R elements though, but I'll get to that. The film cost $25 million budget. That was the budget for it. It came out in August of 1984, on August 17th. 117 minutes, so it's almost as long as a Marvel movie. And the movie only made 5 million. How? That's less than what freaking Elektra made back in 2005, or Catwoman. And I know those were bombs too, but they made even more than 5 million. But it's not that bad, guys. Trust me, this is way better. And if those of you that thought that Captain Marvel was terrible, and you think that the movie couldn't make any less money than that, this made only $5 million, guys. Captain Marvel made $1 billion, so it's a hit. But yeah, this movie, it says it was released by Columbia Pictures. Cena bombed in the theaters and was nominated for 5 Razzies. It is not that bad, guys. Worst picture, worst actress, worst director, worst screenplay, and worst musical score, but it reportedly did find some cult success on home video. Exactly, because Tanya Roberts is a gorgeous woman and she can act. I don't care what people say. She was in the later season of Charlie's Angels and she was good. Let me read the synopsis. Journey to the deepest parts of Africa for thrills, romance, and adventure. Starring Tanya Roberts, A View to a Kill, the last James Bond movie with Roger Moore, That 70s Show, and Charlie's Angels, the original series, not that god awful remake, that reboot in 2011, or that horrible movie that's coming out this year. Sheena brings to life the legendary Queen of the Jungle in a spectacular epic. Orphaned in Zambuli territory, the blonde Sheena is raised by a noble tribe and taught to communicate telepathically with all creatures. When she falls in love with journalist Vic Casey, Ted Was, who is reporting on an evil prince, is up to Sheena to rescue Vic and save her idyllic kingdom. And look, a female-driven movie, comic book movie that didn't have any strings attached, directed by a man, John Guillermin. He did a good job directing. I don't think he did a terrible job. Let me see what else he's directed. I don't think it's one of the worst movies of 1984. I've seen way worse, guys. That's the problem. John Guillermin. Let's see what else he's directing. He passed away in 2015, so rest in peace. He did some of the Tarzan movies. He did Tarzan's Greatest Adventure, Tarzan Goes to India, and he also directed The Towering Inferno, I believe. Yeah. So this guy's done some stuff. He also did King Kong Lives. But yeah, I do like his filmography, some of it. Um, yeah, The Day They Robbed the Bank of England, Tarzan Goes to India. He also directed the 1976 King Kong, which I think is good. It's just a little bit too long. It was before the Peter Jackson version. Yeah, his last film he directed was King Kong Lives. While not a classic, it's still shorter than the freaking remake with that Peter Jackson did. But yeah, I think he does a good job. You can see the movie. It's a beautifully shot film. I think the cinematography is great. I like the score. Who did the score here? Richard Hartley. He did a good job doing it. It's not a classic score, but I do like it. It's fun. It's lighthearted. The movie's not as dark as some of the comic book movies that we've had with women in like the last 15 years. And so as Tanya Roberts said, they actually do. This is a PG movie, but they show her naked in one scene where she's taking a bath. They would never show that in an MCU movie unless it was R. And like I said, it's underrated. It didn't deserve to bomb. I would have loved to have seen this in the theater if I was alive at that time. This guy did a composer. He did the Rocky Horror Show, and what else did he do? He did The Good Father, Consuming Passions, uh, in film. Well, no, he did Princess Caribou, uh, Alice in Wonderland, 1999, which I hated. Yeah, he's done some stuff, but I did like the score. I don't think it's terrible. And the film has some decent action sequences in the film. You can see what's going on. There's no shaky cam. There's no bad CGI. The animals in the movie are real, so you don't have any like bad effects. Like I said, Tanya Roberts is beautiful in the movie. She just has to be beautiful and act. That's what she did for me. I'm sorry. She it says part animal, part legend, all woman. Just the way I like it. There's no transgender BS women like in the Supergirl TV series. No, I don't like that, guys. I only like women like her and her, the girl that played Sheena in the TV series, because I get to look at her, I get to hear her beautiful voice, I get to see that those big luscious lips and those soulful eyes. That gives me more a hard on than any of the girls in KK Wars because they are not sexy, they're boring, they're soulless, they're freaking foreigners that can't act, and they just do nothing for me. And the thing is that you could do more with them if they, I don't know, they appeal to me more. But the accents alone just kill me. But if you've never seen Sheena and you've seen movies like Captain Marvel, Supergirl, Elektra, and Catwoman, unfortunately, I feel bad if you did. This is not as bad as some of those. I loved Captain Marvel. It's one of my favorite movies of 2019. It has a blonde just like this movie, and she's badass, and she has powers and they're explained. I don't care what people say. Oh, we know nothing about her. Read the comics, see the cartoons, play the video games. You will see plenty of Captain Marvel. With Sheena, she had a comic that came out way back, even before the Marvel stuff came out in the 1930s and during the Depression. And yeah, she's an awesome character. I like that she could shapeshift into animals in the TV series. They always get a gorgeous actress to play her. She can speak English without a stupid accent, which is always promising for me. She's white, which is fine. There's some light skinned people in Africa, so it doesn't bother me in South Africa. And the film, like I said, it is a little long. Ted Wass is not the best lead guy, but he's not terrible. You also have Donovan Scott in the movie as well, and it's decent. It is cheesy at times. David Newman and Lorenzo Semple Jr. wrote the movie, but and also Leslie Stevens. They did a fine job. It's not painful. It's cheesy, but it's the '80s, so I could see it for what it is. And there's partial nudity, so I'm not going to complain. As a man, it's not going to bother me. It's better than Fifty Shades of Grey because it actually serves a purpose. Taking a bath, you don't do that with your clothes on. But yeah, I think it's underrated. It's a comic book movie that's barely talked about, Sheena. And see, like Shira, she's also someone that has a name with an S from the '80s. And I'm like, yeah, women can be badass and not be SJWs. That's what I like when they're sexy and smart and resourceful and they can kick ass and they have no accents. That's annoying. That's that does it for me, guys. And in real life, when they shower, when they keep themselves clean and are decent human beings. Their personality counts too. But this is a really fun movie. It's underrated. It's not a terrible film. Don't listen to the Razzies. They think Howard the Duck is one of the worst movies ever made. And I'm like, they haven't seen the worst movies ever made. I have. I have a list of them, and I'm going to get to that sometime this year or by next year. The 100 movies that the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. This is not one of them. This is a fun, underrated, kind of cult classic from before the Marvel era because this is before Howard the Duck, before the Punisher, before the X-Men movies and the Blade films, and before Spider-Man. It was before everything, before the MCU, the DCU. It was before all of that. This came out the same year as Supergirl, and uh, what else? It was right before Superman 4, but it's not like that. It doesn't have horrible effects. Tanya Roberts is a great lead. I think she really elevates the movie for me because as a fellow New Yorker, I support my people. And like I said, it's an underrated movie. It's a little long. It's got some cheeseball humor. It's got some funny moments, but it has good action, great lead, great, really good cinematography of Africa if it was filmed there. And the film is it's a lot of fun. If you're looking for something lighter that's not super dark, this is for you. this Sheena movie. It's definitely an underrated '80s film, and it's not the worst. Trust me. 5 Razzies. That's not even close to how bad how some movies are compared to this. And it should be seen at least once. You'll like it if you like beautiful jungle women, being badass and being resourceful and being sexy, and not being having the strings of an SJW. This is definitely a movie that you can watch. And hey, power to the women when they're done when it's done right. I love it. Case in point, guys, come at me. I said it. I will get that movie on Blu-ray in June because I love women. I like to look at them. I like to hear them. I like to feel them in a soft way, like when I hug them and I feel their essence. It's good. If it's there's nothing more satisfying as a man than having the touch of a woman. They're soft and sweet and beautiful, and they're the most wonderful creatures on the earth. Well, most of them. And when they look like this, I'm not going to complain too much. And Tanya Roberts still looks like that. Even though she's older now, she's still a knockout. And like I said, I liked her as an actress. I did. Yeah, she was a model, but hey, I've seen models that can't act for shit, but she's not one of them. She's actually one of the ones, just like Scarlett Johansson, who is also a model, can act and is beautiful and gives me enough to work with. And it's a fun movie. Thanks, guys, for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in another review later.